G12 day 1, we're looking at the letter I making its long I sound. So in these words, because we have an ND or an LD after the letter I, it may make it say its long sound I. So we have find, kind, mind, wind. Now, because I've written here may say, so it doesn't have to say. So this could also be wind, so the letter I can also make its short sound it before an ND. But in this list of words, we're making it make its long sound, so it would be wind. Wild, blind, child. So let's have a look at what these words mean. We've got find means to look for something, and when you find it, you're usually quite happy. You might use a magnifying glass to find something that's very small. Kind is when you're very nice to other people and you do nice things for them, and then you usually find you've got lots of friends if you're a kind person. Mind is, your mind is where you think in your brain, and you can also have mind your manners, which means people are saying to you, you think about it, you use your manners, or mind your step, which means think about where you're going to step. Wind, you could have a wind up toy at home, and in the olden days we used to have to wind up clocks to make them work. Sometimes people might say to you, don't eat too many lollies because they'll wind you up. That means that they'll make you perhaps be a little bit silly. Wild means an animal that's not held in captivity. It's free to roam as it wills. So wild means it's not contained. It's let free. Blind could be someone who is blind, means they can't see very well, and it could also mean something that you cover your windows with so that the sun doesn't shine in, or to keep your light in at night time, not going outside. Child means like a kid, it's someone who's young, and it only means one. It's one child. This is a tricky one because when we change it to meaning more than one, we don't say childs, we say children. So children means more than one child, but here we're only talking about one kid or one little person. Okay, let's read the words, sound the words, spell the words, and copy them. So I've got find, find, cover it and write it 3 times. Next one, kind, and you know to use a K before the letter I for the k sound, because inside an I you can see a K is hidden. So that's your little hint to use a K before an I. So I've got kind, kind, kind. And once again, that's why it's important to spell these words after you sound them, because when you spell it, you're identifying that you use the K for the k sound in kind and not the letter C for the k sound, because either one could make the k sound. But we know if the letters follow, the k sounds followed by an I, we must use the K before it. You can finish those on your own. G12 day 2, we're revising that the letter I can make the long I sound in the middle of a word if it's before an ND or an LD. So let's read those words. We've got find, kind, mind, wind. That could also say wind, so you have to be careful, but here we know before an ND it may make its long or its short sound. Wild, but blind, child, child. Now you know to use a K before an I because we say, if we wrote the letter I here, we could say that there is a K hidden inside an I, whether you want to do it like that or the K like that. So that's your hint that when we use an I, we know to have a K before it for the K sound. Because if we have CI, it's not going to say K, it's going to say its soft sound S. Okay, so let's go through these words quickly. I'm going to read them, sound them, spell them, write them. So find, find, F-I-N-D, cover it and write it. K-I-N-D, K-I-N-D. Mind, M-I-N-D, M-I-N-D. And you can finish the rest of those on your own. Copy and tick or cross. Okay, a kind person would help you find a lost toy. That would be a tick. That would be correct. You could highlight the list words in that, kind and find. And then you have to cover that sentence with your long strip of paper to see if you can write it without making a mistake. Now, capital letter for the start of the sentence. A kind person, and if you forget how to spell a word or you can't remember the sentence, you can have a little look, a little peek. A kind person would help you find a lost toy. A kind person would help you find a lost toy, and don't forget to put your full stop at the end. You can read those and finish them on your own. Don't forget to put the tick or the cross at the end and highlight the list words in each sentence before you write them. Write a list word that means caring or gentle, probably kind, so you just have to write the word there. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of Braille, but for people who are blind, they have a Braille alphabet, and what happens is the printer puts little bumps in the paper, and for every letter of the alphabet, there's a different way of representing the letter with dots, with these little spots or bumps on the paper. So this is saying, I am blind, I use the Braille alphabet. When I read, I have to feel the letters because I can't see them. When I write, the printer makes the letters into little bumps on the paper. So they can still read and they can still write, but they have to use their fingers rather than their eyes to do so. Try writing your name in Braille by drawing the dots. So you'd have to look over here. So this is the alphabet in sequence, so you'd have to find the letters in your name and then draw the dots that represent each of those letters in your name. G12 Day 3, we're revising that the letter I can make the long I sound in some words, especially if it's followed by an ND or an LD. So we've got I and find, K I and kind, M I and mind, W I and wind, W-I-uld wild, B-ul-I-nd blind, Ch-I-uld child. So let's read the words, sound the words, spell the words, write them. So we've got find, F-I-N-D, F-I-N-D. Cover it and write it. K-I-N-D, K-I-N-D. And you know to use a K before an I for the K sound, because if we had CI, it would say S. That wouldn't be right. Okay, you can finish the rest of those on your own. This little mouse is saying wind me up. So wind, that's the wind we want for there. Verb families, we've got the base words here. Here we're adding S. Here we're adding ing. So it's pretty easy, it's a straight, just add the ing to the word. And here Rather than adding ed, we don't say I finded the gold, we'd say I found the gold. We can say minded, Granny minded the baby, but we can't say wound, we can't say winded up the mouse, we can say wound up the mouse. So here, these two here are tricky because we're not adding the ed, we're changing the word from find to found, from wind to wound. So be careful on those two. They're irregular verbs because we're not adding the ed, which we normally do. Comparatives meaning more of something, we add er to these words. And when we want to explain the most of something, we add est. So we would have kind, kinder, kindest, wild, wilder, wildest. And we only use the or more, the est or most. We don't ever use and more, est and most. So we wouldn't say that is more kinder. We'd just say that is kinder. That animal is wilder would be correct. We wouldn't say that animal is more wilder. Now here we need to combine a list word with this other word. Something fold would be a blindfold. Something wren would be children. So find the small words inside these. So you might have, and they have to be in order, the letters have to be in order. So if you take the D off find, you've got the word fin. If you take the F off fin, you've got in. You can do this one all on your own. The opposite to lose would be find. Tame, you can work out that one. Adult, nasty. You can find the opposite words that mean the opposite to those on your own. They've got to be list words from up here. Write the base word. I've highlighted them for you. You could highlight them too if you want to. Kindness comes from the word kind. You can read those words and write the base words. Singular and plural. If we have one of something, we just write the word. But sometimes when we want to say more of something, we add an S or an ES. And then sometimes we have irregular plurals. So child, we don't say childs, and we don't say childers, we say children. So we change that word from child to children. So that's an irregular plural because it's not normal, it's a bit different. We don't do this to every word to make it mean more than one. We're just doing it to the word children, where we're adding REN to the end to make it mean more than one. So be very careful on that one. Okay, you can finish that page. This is G12, day 4, and today we're doing some proofreading. So you have to read Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, find one word in each line that's spelt incorrectly and write it correctly on the line at the end. So star will be R like in car, A-R. You can find the word that's wrong in each of these lines. And now when you get down here, there are 2 words that you have to write in and 2 words that you have to find in the sentence in that line. Write the base word of each word. So you may like to highlight the word first and then you have to write that base word on the line next to it. Now down the bottom we've got draw and label a sound chain. Now we've had a little bit of a practice of this on another page. So this is where you have to remember that the last letter of the previous word is going to be the first letter of the next word. So this word ends in T, so we know the next word has to start with T. So I might put 10. And so you could draw the number 10 there, or you could draw 10 things. So the next word would have to start with an N. And you can find something there. You can finish that word chain on your own.